Hey peeps, it's your Uncle Mongrel here, and it's time for another little known facts from Stewart's Almanac. First and foremost, it is Monday morning, so to my chicky monkeys, my G-babies, and the rest of my peeps out there, good morning. I hope you have a great week. I hope you had a great Mother's Day. Before we roll into this week's little story, I just want to say, if you guys out there in the cyberverse like these videos, then do me a favor, like them and share them so other people can see them. I don't aggressively push this video out there, these videos out there on any of these platforms or anything like that. So they got to grow organically. I'd love to see them grow more. Great. If they do, great. But for the most part, they're really for my kids and my grandkids and the people close to me, But apparently some of these things have gotten legs, and some people apparently get something out of the video. So if you do, like, share, and spread them around, And if you want to, go to the YouTube channel, Random Access Web TV, subscribe, rate, and review. There's a ton of other videos besides just this little video series. There's a whole bunch of tips from Uncle Mongrel and stuff like that, from working in this industry, and a bunch of other stuff. So, that being said, this is Little Known Facts from Stewart's Almanac, episode 13, The Time I Saw Angels. Now, this is going to take place circa 2006, early 2006, springtime, basically, And a lot of you at this point have now heard and that there was a dark period of my life where I had a problem with alcohol and drugs and stuff, And this point in time, 2006, I wanted to get my life clean, and I was doing everything that I could. I moved away from everything that was potentially drawing me that way. So I literally physically moved away to the little podunk town of Fredericksburg, Texas, in the middle of nowhere. I wanted to be closer to my kids, and that's where they were at that time. So I was out that way, and I was trying to find my way through life, and I was working, doing some odd jobs and some satellite jobs and stuff for a couple of satellite people up there, and I was also working for some people on their land development company, and I'm not going to promote them too much because there were issues, but a large part of the story takes place with one of their jobs. So during this time, I had just finished up a satellite job, and I was headed back into town, and the land development company had a big customer that was wanted to give them more work, but wanted to see what we could do. So he gave them a lot downtown, and he wanted us to clear it, and he was coming in 4 hours, and he wanted to see what we could do in 4 hours. So it was all hands on deck. So they asked me to come over and help out too. So I showed up. Well, before that, on the way from the satellite job to there, I get a call. From my ex-girlfriend in Waco, and she was hell of a blues singer. I used to love to go and listen to them sing. Her and her band on stage could really just get a joint rocking, man. It was awesome. Her musicians were great. She could wail. There was this one musician on her band that I got to be friends with, man. Guy used to really make me laugh, man. We used to drink and tell stories, and he was one hell of a musician, man. And when he got up there, he just loved to play, man. He loved to play. Well, she was calling me because she knew how much of a friend I was of his, and she told me that the night before he had suffered a major stroke and had passed away. And this blew me away. Still gets me a little bit right now talking about it. This blew me away because I literally had just seen him a couple weeks before when I went back up to Waco, and I went to see them perform. And we had drank and partied and stuff. So real shock to the system. So this was on my mind. This was weighing on my mind, and I pulled into the other job and stuff, and it's a flurry of like ants and stuff running over this lot trying to clear it. So I get my ladder out and stuff like that because I got to help sculpt trees and stuff like that. And I'm the ladder guy, okay? I spent the majority of my career climbing telephone poles and ladders and stuff like that. I have taught safety, ladder safety and everything. I was the guy that put the ladder up in the trees, and I'd go up and I'd strap it off, make sure it's all secure, then get up and start sculpting. Except this time, my mind just wasn't there. Wasn't all there. And threw the ladder up, and I went up, and I had about a 15-foot pole saw, and I'm up there, and I'm sculpting this tree, sculpting this limb that my ladder was on. And I cut just a little too much off, okay? And here's how it was. This is the limb. Here's my ladder. I cut that weight off, and that limb shot up. My ladder went that way, I went that way, and the chainsaw went that way. I was 15 feet in the air, folks, flying backwards. And it all happened in slow motion, like a cartoon, you know. I turned to my left to try and catch myself, and I saw a brick garden wall running right in the path I was going to land face first on. I was like, oh, crap. So I turned and shifted to the right, trying to get to my right side, but I was falling, and I got to about right here, and that's when I hit the ground, flat on my back. Instant pain. I've never felt pain like that. It hurt. I couldn't breathe. I almost couldn't see, and it just hurt. And I heard people yelling for call 911, call 911, and I had people grabbing my hand and holding me and trying to keep me focused and stuff. And then I heard the ambulance show up, and the ambulance drivers came over and they got me, and they asked me. This is when I realized I was losing feeling in my toes and my feet, you know, and I couldn't feel them grabbing my feet. And they turned me and rolled me on my side to put the backboard underneath me. And this is when I learned that when you're on your side, you may not know this, your back should make a natural S, okay? When they rolled me on my side, they told me my back went like this. You see that right there? That shouldn't be. I broke the hell out of my back, man. And they were worried. They rolled me over on the backboard, strapped me down, got me into the ambulance, and proceeded to pump me full of morphine. And the ambulance driver later on told me that he gave me 5 times the amount of morphine he was allotted. They got me to the hospital, and they'd already called, and they were going to start flight me to San Antonio because that little podunk hospital couldn't handle the injuries I was in. So they already had the helicopter there. They took me from the ambulance straight to the helicopter. Now, when I heard I was being star-flighted, another wave of pain and fear came over me because I hate heights. Yes, I climb telephone poles. I hate heights. And I hate flying, man. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, this is when I was just starting to try and find my way back to God, you know. And I'm not a super religious person, okay? I am spiritual. I have my faith and belief in the Lord, the man upstairs, and this situation was one that helped me really key into that. I do believe God made man, man made religion, so I don't prescribe to religion a whole lot, okay? And find your own way. Find your own way to the man upstairs, you know? If you got to follow religion, follow religion. But remember, God made man, man made religion, okay? Anywho, this was the moment I found out I was going on a helicopter, and I just started praying. I said, God, no, don't let me go out like this. I was terrified. I thought I was going to be paralyzed. I thought the helicopter was going to crash. I thought, God, no, don't let it end like this, please. Please send me an angel. Send me an angel to help keep this helicopter in the air, please. And then they loaded me on the helicopter, and we took off. Now, the EMT in the back, he was a pretty good guy, and he told me, he says, on a scale from 0 to 10, what is your pain right now? And I screamed at him, 13. And he said, when you land, I will have you at 0. I'm like, I don't believe you. And then he proceeded to pump me full about 10 times the amount of morphine he's allotted per patient. And he told me that later on too. But halfway through this flight, I turned my head to the left and I looked out the window of the helicopter. And I shit you not, I saw an angel with his hand out like it was holding up the rungs of the helicopter. And it turned its head and it looked at me and it smiled. And that instant, a warmth came over me like I've never felt. My pain was gone. I turned my head back. I just took a deep breath and I just laid there and relaxed. Relaxed. We landed in San Antonio. And I ended up being in the emergency room for about 12 hours. And yes, I walked out under my own power after 12 hours. Whole nother story being in that emergency room. I walked out with a broken wrist and a crap load of pain. Crap load of pain. I was on a couch for 6 months trying to recover. 6 months. And about 3 months into that recovery, we got word that the county was having a barbecue celebration for the EMT workers and the fire department and Starflight and all that stuff like that. And so we went, and I wanted to see these people and stuff, and particularly wanted to thank them. And we had some barbecue, really good barbecue. It's Texas, what do you expect, you know? And I met the ambulance guy, and I got to talk to him. That's when he told me he gave me 5 times the amount, and he was worried about me. And he said, would you like to meet the helicopter crew? And I was like, yes. You know, so he takes me over to these 3 guys, the pilot, the co-pilot, and the EMT worker that was that was in the back with me. And they introduced it to me, and they all just kind of like just focus entirely on me, like, oh, we have wondered. You don't understand. You were in so much pain. You were hurting, and we all felt it, and we wondered how you were doing. And it is so good to see you up and around, walking around. And I said, thank you, fellas. And I said, I hope you don't mind, but I'm gonna tell you a story that I haven't really told anybody at this point in time. I hadn't told anybody this story. And I told them what I just told you about the angel. And all 3 of them looked at each other, and their faces got white as sheets. And I was like, all right, see, guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I don't want to tell this story. And they're like, each pilot grabbed one of my arms gently and said, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. We work 7 days on, 7 days off. And that entire week was the worst week we've ever flown together. Every single flight had turbulence, severe turbulence. And when we heard we were picking somebody up with a broken back, we were afraid that the flight was going to make it worse. And that entire week, every flight had turbulence, except yours. So don't think we don't believe you. In fact, we wholeheartedly believe you. And it's the truth, because we landed in San Antonio with no turbulence. We got you off the helicopter. We took off to go back to Fredericksburg, turbulence. Yours was the only flight with no turbulence that week. So that was the confirmation I needed, you know, and I was like, okay. So that was one of the biggest hills to getting my life clean, was getting through all that. And I'm still dealing with pain, but it's just a constant reminder for me that, hey, it could be a lot worse. Somebody up there must like me because they've kept me around. So, yeah, again, I'm not a really religious guy. I am spiritual. I hope everybody finds their own path in this world and finds their own religion and their way to the man upstairs. But I hope you enjoyed that. That was the time I saw angels and learned that they were real. I got confirmation for it. Anyway, little known facts from Stewart's Almanac, episode 13. Till next time, peeps. Love, peace, and bacon grease. Bacon.